Please read this carefully. I wanted to use Google to define this so everyone would have a mutual understanding of what's going on. You want to know what's going on? Crimes are being committed by a government agency that's created to secure and rehabilitate those convicted of crimes. Throughout our series of videos, we've given enough proof to literally render many correctional facilities in the state of Mississippi inoperable or at the very least in need of federal investigation. Yet to this date, nothing has happened. Meanwhile, conditions and treatment of inmates continues to get worse and inmates continue to die. Please take heed to what you're about to see and use your voice and your right as a U.S. citizen to stand up against this ineffective management agency known as MDOC. Look at this. Why does this rat trap have so many roaches on it? I know you're saying there's no way this many roaches can be from one cell, right? Well, it's true, and equally sad. Reports show after MDOC sprays to get rid of the roaches, even more come around. If spraying is properly and regularly done, there wouldn't be as many roaches in this picture. And this is only half of a rat trap. What rat is going to come around that many roaches? It's so infested with roaches and rats, this alone is not going to help. Can you imagine living in this? Having your food in this? In these surroundings? This is a picture of a full-size rat trap. Do you see how many rats are on this one trap? Do you see how big they are? Inmates have awakened to 4 to 5 rats on one trap alone. Imagine having to see rats all day and throughout the night. Most people don't want to see them at all, but this is the reality that inmates have to face knowing nothing, absolutely nothing, has been done for decades to change these conditions. MDOC, this is pure filth. These men are human. Why are you allowing them to live like animals?
Okay, there go a magnet right there. Come out the dirty clothes laundry bag. Real live magnets. Magnets in our clothing bag. Look how it crawling. And these are the clothes that we wear. This coming from the laundry. This how the laundry bucket look. They refuse to wash our clothes until the point where accumulated maggots.
Now this is Unit 30 of Parchman. Remember the last pictures are of Unit 29. How is it that Unit 30 is a newer unit but has maggots at a prison on the shower floor? That question alone is enough to make anyone with a heart and humane mindset cringe. Maybe having weeks worth of laundry sitting up could contribute to the problem. No, this is laundry left over because the rest of it was either thrown away or hand washed by inmates because Unit 30 went weeks without allowing inmates laundry service. What prison accumulating as much revenue as MDOC does lacks washing detergent and bleach? Some of this stuff should be obvious, and some points shouldn't have to be made. This is just horrible. Yep, you guessed it. They are still feeding unrecognizable food at MDOC. Look at Marshall County Correctional Facility. This is a private facility. If state prisons treat their inmates bad, these companies follow the trend and pocket money and goods while depriving inmates of what they're supposed to have to survive. All these meals are fed at MDOC, the last being a recent breakfast at Parchman. Look at how the food is mixed. What's the red sauce, you ask? It's supposed to be salsa, and it's clearly in more than just the slot it belongs in. How do these inmates deal with this? Imagine the humiliation of having to eat this because you have no choice. Thanks, MDOC, for wasting our hard earned tax dollars. Politicians, who's going to stand behind their word and actually do something? Who's going to tell MDOC they're wrong and they need to fix this? Who would want to use this restroom? Who? Certainly not me or anyone with morals and dignity. So, is this another way of trying to take the dignity of these men at MDOC? And is this really how you rehabilitate someone, by making them live this way? I think not. It's more like degrading them. We've seen so many of these reports. But why aren't they working? Why is change not taking place? How is it that MDOC is so powerful that no one has stepped in and shut these places down, or even fired the administration and replaced them with properly experienced individuals? Wouldn't this help prevent the continuous problems? This is an email sent from a concerned loved one of an inmate at South Mississippi Correctional. Just read it. Why do these inmates have to suffer like this? Doesn't MDOC realize that they're punishing the families of these inmates as well? No warm water? Really, MDOC? The extremes at which they are forcing these men to go through to survive are horrific and totally unconstitutional. Why aren't attorneys attacking these issues? They are obviously going to be victorious in any courtroom in America. A taxpayer wrote this email. Need I say more? Well, I think I will say more. Do you see this? Take a close look. Maybe someone saw this and chalked it up as just normal stuff that happens here in Mississippi, right? Okay, but it's not normal. It's not normal or safe for neighbors who live near the prison. What prison averages 2 escapes per year? Especially if the prison was staffed according to regulations. Another thing, this inmate you see on this picture that MDOC posted is not the inmate who escaped. That's right, the inmate who escaped was a black male of a young age. Why wasn't the correct information provided to the public? Doesn't this fall under public safety? This is an error on MDOC's behalf, and more specifically, Superintendent Marshall Turner and K-9 Tactical Unit Lieutenant Letha Williams. They were the active staff dealing with the investigation of this escapee, yet they reported false and inaccurate information. Maybe a thorough investigation into the actions of Superintendent Turner and who we hear to be his partner in crime, Letha Williams, will reveal the truths about not just this, but other crimes being committed by them and the staff at Mississippi State Penitentiary. However, without any investigation, these acts will continue.
Get all around you, Mike. Look all over. All right, Mike. Look all over there. Look all over there. One countertop. That's what we found. One countertop. All over. So this is how we live. What's up, Mike? What's up, Mike?
Gotta try to clean up. He almost threw water in the goddamn socket trying to clean up. Don't goddamn fry himself. Don't get to frying himself.
See this? What you're looking at is a picture of contraband found during a search and seizure by MDOC employees. Over the years, decades actually, this has been routine. Whenever major contraband is found, especially knives, MDOC makes a huge deal about violence amongst inmates, their focal point. They say it's a must that they keep the prison safe. Public safety. Now let's show proof that once again, MDOC is faking the funk. The truth is, a nonprofit foundation by the name of LX3 started a movement called Stop the Violence. This movement asked all gangs and organizations to put down their weapons and disarm themselves in order to make the community safe. The Growth and Development Organization took heed to this movement and turned in weapons all over the state within Mississippi's penal system. This was a historical movement because it had never been done before, especially at this rate. I mean, really, inmates from every prison in the state disarming themselves? Let's face it, it's no secret that weapons and violence exist in the penal system, not only in Mississippi, but all over the world. These men were willing to lay their differences aside to make a difference. All that being done, all that being said, do you want to know what MDOC did? They began searching, harassing, and transferring inmates and placing them in segregation. They were being punished for trying to stop the violence within the penal system in Mississippi. Sean Dixon was placed in segregation and found guilty of an RVR. Spencer Lawrence was targeted and mistreated by administration. How is it that MDOC is more criminal than those they house, and nothing is being done to stop them? Since MDOC punished these inmates rather than showing their appreciation to them, one is left to assume that they want them to have the weapons so they can kill each other. They are always quick to report when contraband is being found or when something negative is going on in the facility, but very seldom is anything positive and the push for change being reported on any of the news stations. If change can happen within MDOC through inmates, then it should be allowed to take place. Whether these inmates are guilty of the crime that they've been convicted of or not, if inmates can be the ones to make a difference within the penal system, we must allow them to do so. In order to see any true rehabilitation, all avenues have to be considered. Not one entity has all the answers, and who better to speak for inmates about their needs while incarcerated than the inmates themselves? We can't leave them out of the equation when trying to find a solution to many challenges within MDOC. So please, share this video and all the videos before this one. MDOC needs to be exposed for their wrongdoings and their lack of regard for constitutional laws when it comes to inmates. They must be held accountable for every single violation made against these inmates who are crying for help and want to change. Again, contact your local legislatures, your state representatives. Help us expose MDOC.